Okay, so my name is Blessing. I'm a study advisor at Japa Partners. So just like the the moderator already established earlier that we'll be discussing about studying in Spain for as low as 8,000 euro. So, we are all aware of how it has become difficult for international students to study in the big four countries now due to the exchange rate and the high cost of things when it comes to their tuition, their cost of living. So it has become more like a difficulty trying to study in the big four countries. But in the bid for people to like pursue their international education dream, so there's a pivot whereby people are looking to study in Europe as a continent. So there are countries in the Schengen areas where international students can study conveniently without language barrier, without any difficulties, and they also have low tuition. So one of these Schengen areas is Spain that we'll be looking at this evening. So which is Spain. So we'll be looking at Spain as a country, as a study destination for international students. And when someone asks you, or when someone pitch to you that you should study in Spain or you can study in Spain, the first question that is going to come from you is, why should I study in Spain? If someone is meeting you and the person is trying to explain to you that there's country where you can easily study as an international student conveniently, the tuition is low, and then there are different opportunities. So, the question that will come from you is, why should I study in this particular area? So there are different things to consider while you are trying to choose your study destination. So for Spain, let's look at why, as an international student, you should study in Spain. Okay. So I have here few points. I have like 4 points here. So these are few of the reasons why you should study in Spain. So the first one, I have affordable tuition. We all will agree with me that this is one of the major difficulties that international students are facing trying to study in either the United States of America, either UK, Canada, Australia, or the big four countries. This is one of the issues that international students are facing because of their exorbitant tuition fee and then the cost of living. So if you will want to study in this, area, you need a whole lot of money. So, but for Spain, that we are trying to talk about today, so there is affordability of tuition. So just like we established earlier that you can study for as low as 8,000 euro as your tuition fee, and even for the cost of living, it's as affordable as anything you can think of. So the number one reason why you should study in Spain is for the affordability of their tuition. So the second point that I have here is the 30 hours week work permit for students. These are things that even the big four countries do not have. The height that you will see is the 20 hours week for students to work. So with this opportunity of you studying for 30 hours as a student, you get to work for 30 hours and you can earn as much as you work. So you have enough hours for you to work so that you can at least support yourself when it comes to getting your cost of living and every other expenses that you might need to cover. So there is opportunity and availability of you working for 30 hours per week, which is something that you will not find in the big four countries. So the third one is the post-graduation work permit. We all will agree with me that one of the utmost goal of every international student trying to study abroad is for them to be able to stay back at the country after their study and work. So this is one thing that studying in Spain has also provided, whereby once you are done with your study, you can apply for your post-graduation work permit, whereby you get your work permit and then you start working full-time. So you are not limited to you are not limited to time, just like a holder of student permit is limited to 30 hours. So once you get your work permit, you can work for as long as hours as you wish to work for. So this is also another reason why you should study in Spain. So if your goal is to stay back in Spain after your study, yes, it is available. So there is availability of post-graduation work permits for you as a student. So the last thing we'll be looking at is the permanent residency. So just like we all know that after an individual has gotten a work permit, the utmost goal again is to get a permanent residency. Through that, you can become a citizen of such country. So there's also availability for international students to enroll or apply for a permanent residency. Once you have stayed back in the country for at least 5 years, then you can be able to qualify for a permanent residence. So these are a few of the reasons why you should consider Spain as your study destination. These are a few of the reasons why you should consider Spain as a study destination. So let me rephrase again. The first one is the affordable tuition. Their tuition is very well affordable, unlike what you'll be finding in other countries, the big four, unlike what you will find there. For Spain, they have affordable tuition, and there's opportunity for you to work for 30 hours as a student. The third one is the post-graduation work permit. You can stay back in the country and work after your study. And whilst you are holding your work permit, you can as well apply for your permanent residence, whereby you can be a full-fledged citizen of such country. So let's move to other things we have. So universities are offering affordable tuition. So we have UCAM as our university spotlight. So we have UCAM. So for UCAM, you can study for as low as 8,000 euros in the universities. So you can study for as low as 8,000 in UCAM. UCAM is one of the universities that we work with in Spain. They have several courses that you can study as well. There's hospitality management, there's MBA. They have as much as you might be, the courses you might be interested in, they have the course. And there are other several institutions as well that you can find in Spain. So these are also few of this UCAM, University Católica San Antonio de Murcia. So the university is located in Murcia, Spain. Some programs are taught in English language. So as one thing you should know as an international student, if you are looking to study in one of the Schengen areas, is that some courses are, not all their courses are taught in English language. So some courses are taught in their native language. So, but in a bid for them to allow or make opportunity for international students who might be struggling with their own with the country's native language. So there are some courses that are solely taught in English language, which are open to international students. So these are English taught courses that international students can apply to. So with these courses, you do not have anything to worry about with the language. You can study these courses in English language. So they receive over, looking at their acceptance rates, they receive over 10,000 international students per year. So we have one of their representatives in our midst this evening. So we have Millicent from UCAM, is one of their representatives. So she's going to be enlightening us, giving us more insights about admission to these schools, what we need to know, and how the process works. So I'll be inviting Millicent to come on board and give us more insights about UCAM. All right, so
All right. All right, thank you very much, Blessing. Well, we'll be having Millicent to take over from Blessing now. Millicent is a member of the marketing and enrollment team in UCAM.
Thank you, Blessing, and the team. My name is Millicent from UCAM University in Spain, and we're here to talk about studying in Spain and in particular UCAM University. Now, a lot has already been said about the university, but I'll just try to touch up, and then towards the end, I'll take questions that might not have been answered by the team. So now we have a few English programs. There's a tendency of, well, for people to apply to Spanish taught courses, maybe because they're cheap. But then the challenge is that you have to learn Spanish first. In your case, the best way to go is to apply to English taught programs. For bachelors, there are four main courses. We have business, psychology, dentistry, and sports. And then you have veterinary medicine. Now, for vet medicine, that's a bilingual program. You need to be fluent in both English and Spanish, but the others are 100% in English. If you're looking into our health programs like vet medicine, dentistry, and psychology, you might want to apply earlier because the classes fill up first. Dentistry and vet medicine are already full, so we still have psychology, a few places to go. But the rest of the programs like business and sports, they're available till around June. That's when they're completely full. However, in your case, you might want to start the process early because it takes a long time to process the visa. So the earlier you start, the sooner you can be done with university bureaucracy and start working on your visa. Now, we have a very simple admission process. It's quite straightforward. You first send the documents, so you can send them to the agency. They can have a look at that. It's strictly a work for bachelors and strictly a bachelor's degree for people going for master's programs. Well, and the transcripts. Now, we're in southern Spain, near Alicante, Valencia, and other southern cities like Cordoba, Malaga. It's much easier for you to visit the southern region of Spain because, well, their trains, their, the flights and the trains are more frequent towards the south than towards the north. It's a touristic region. It's hot. July and August can go up to 40 degrees. Winters are mild. It never snows in Murcia. We are now at 28 degrees for winter. For spring, this is a lot, 28 degrees. But well, that's the general climate of Murcia. Warm weather, tourist environment. At weekends, most people go to Alicante or the beaches around Murcia. We do have some exquisite beaches like La Manga Beach. We have the beaches in Cartagena. And if you like bigger cities, you can always go to Alicante, which is just half an hour away from Murcia. We have three campuses. The main is Murcia. Then you have Cartagena and Madrid. A few programs. The only English program in Madrid is a master's in MBA sports. Most programs, of course, will be at the main campus. Dentistry is only available in Cartagena. Now, Cartagena is it's a sea it's a sea town. So if you love the sea, I highly advise looking into programs offered in Cartagena. Now, I'm gonna share. I don't know if I can share a presentation. It will be much easier for me to explain. We are relatively young, about 26 years old, but within this time, we've managed to emerge as a top school in Europe, especially. In Spain, we are popular because we're one of the few people that offer official programs in English. Remember, you can find a program in Spain taught in English, but what many schools will not tell you is that they are not official. But then that's our pride. We're a university, not just a college or an institution, and our courses are official. That means it's recognized outside Spain. Should you go back to your country, or should you wish to proceed to a master's or a PhD, this is going to be valid. Now, for the rankings, this is well, the latest review, 2022, the Times Higher Education. We've been selected as the 10th best university in terms of the quality of education and teaching. We've got this award twice, in 2019 and in 2022. Recently, we just got the award of 5-star according to QS rating. We used to be 4-star, but from 2023, we became a 5-star university according to QS ranking. Most of the credits went to internationalization, inclusivity. That means we accept people from all over the world, and they actually feel comfortable being in Murcia and being on campus. They don't feel stigmatized just because they're foreigners. No. So we got a 5-star for this kind of treatment to international students. Teaching, of course, as you can see, it's twice, 10th in Europe and a 5-star in QS. We have the best teaching methodology in Europe. The other things like the specialist criteria, the double master in MBA. This is an interesting program for people who want to focus on working in sports environments, not necessarily as athletes, but in the administrative panel. It has a trip to Dubai. It's a fun program. And at the end, you get 2 master's degrees. Employability, we are renowned in Spain, and that makes it lucrative for students once they graduate. Whenever an employer says, oh, that's a graduate from UCAM, you have a much better advantage over people from other institutions. Social responsibility, these are the activities that we do as giving thanks back to the community. Most of them are charity events. Some, for example, the one in Ukraine, we made donations to Ukraine during the war. We still are. There are other charity activities in Africa, especially Uganda and South America, countries like Bolivia, Venezuela, Colombia. In Africa, they're working on West Africa. In the East, we have Uganda for now, where we send aid in terms of funding. We send doctors and nurses to go and help the less fortunate. Now, we have a large number of graduates, as mentioned before. It's about 10,000. On average, that will come to almost 50,000. But last year, that's the last graduation, that stood to 10,000 students. Of course, most of them will be from South America because they are eligible to most programs which are offered in Spanish. There are many programs in English, master's, MBA, the double MBA, hospitality, tourism. You have MBA Sports in Madrid, you have high performance sports and international relations, EU studies. All these are available on the website for you to review the curriculum later. Our start dates are friendly in terms of people who get late visas. Generally, we do October intakes and October intakes for bachelor's and November intakes for masters. There is an option, however, whereby a student can opt to join in January, second semester. For some programs, not everything. The bachelor's in sports and business. In case your visa came late, you can always join the second semester. You cannot, however, apply to the second semester. You apply to the October semester, but if you get a late visa, that's when we fix you in the January intake to start in the second semester. For our master's programs, we understand that processes could be very slow, so we give them up to 3 weeks of late reporting for master's programs. Now, we have some of the best facilities in medicine, health in general, especially the clinic. We have the best clinic in southern Spain. That's one of the reasons the class is always full, because most students see the clinic. This is our dental clinic. It's open to the public, and once in a while we have students going there to do their practicals. Other than that, it's a normal functioning dental clinic with real dentists. The machines are state of the art, and we try to keep up with the latest technology so that we can compete with the actual market outside the academic sector. Recently, we opened up the UCAM High Tech. This is a massive lab focused on research. It was established under the help of the European Union. So we were commissioned to run the project, as much as it's partly organized by the European Union. At least they commissioned us to run the project in the lab. So if you go to the website, you can always see some of the pictures of this UCAM High Tech, whereby they focus on biotechnology, and it has been successful so far. A few things have been invented in this lab in the biotechnology sector. Unfortunately, most programs are in Spanish in biotechnology, so they are open to African students who live in Spain already because they can speak Spanish. But you're free to go here and have a look whenever available, whenever ready. The other thing I'd like to mention is the treatment of students, international students. Once you come here, you get a personal tutor. It's more like a mentor. So you will not be stranded alone. Once you're here, you'll be assigned somebody. Well, I am your advisor for enrollment, but once you start studying, somebody else will be assigned to you to be helping you with any other thing other than enrollment. It could be your personal life. You could be stressed. You could have problems with your results. This tutor will have a look at everything. He or she will be all round, except enrollment, where they will be sending you back to me. So that's an advantage we have, because there is no other university that assigns a personal mentor to a student. But for us to achieve this, we maintain a small class. If everyone is going to get a personal mentor, we cannot do this to 100 students. So our classes are small to give this premium service. The masters are only 25 students. bachelors are only 40 to 45 students. Now, as mentioned before, Spain has the best visa policy. It used to be 20 hours a week working, but from 2023, they increased it to 30 years, making it the best visa policy in Europe. If you're taking an official masters mean they have access to PhDs and are recognized all over the world. You can extend your visa for 1 more year. It's called a job search visa, and change it onto a work permit. The same applies to bachelor's programs. Our bachelors are 4 years. Medical programs are 5 and 6 years. But once you're done, you can always extend your visa and apply for a work permit. Nobody will kick you out as soon as you're done. Go back to your country. No, you're highly encouraged to extend your visa and find work since you have training in Spain and you're fit in the Spanish job market. The other thing I would like to mention is that most people want to confirm if they will get jobs after graduation. I cannot guarantee you will get a job, but you stand a much better chance given that you live in the western part of Europe, in a developed world. It's a problem everywhere in the world, just like in the US, but we can always guarantee the internship. That one is on us. You don't have to struggle looking for an internship. As an international student who doesn't speak Spanish, we don't let you struggle alone. We help you complete your program and all the internships that are required. Most people are usually absorbed in the companies after the internships, but you're free to leave and find another place. You don't have to take our internship. You're also free to find your own internship in case you find a better job. And then the best thing about living in Murcia is the living cost. There are many beautiful cities in Spain. Spain is definitely the most beautiful city in Europe and with the best weather. In summer, most Europeans come to Spain for holiday. So you can imagine for them, they look at Spain like the little Bahamas. It's like going to school in the Bahamas or in the Maldives. You're already going to school in a holiday spot. So coming to Spain is studying in a holiday spot. We are not Bahamas. We are we are nothing close to the Maldives, but we're the holiday spot of Europe. And this is where you're going to be every day, not visiting like the rest of the Europeans visit in summer. You're going to live here every day. So take that opportunity, explore as much as you can in Spain and also outside Spain within the European Union, because the student visa you get allows you to travel within the European Union without having to apply for a visa, except the UK, which is not in the European Union anymore. Now, having said that, you might wonder how long does it take to get a job as a foreigner. If you come to Spain with excellent skills, it could take you between 2 to 3 months to land a position. But for bachelor students, it could take a bit longer because they're fresh from school. They probably have never worked, so it takes a bit longer. But the situation is much better for master's students. There's a question here. Is master's in marketing, communication, and transport logistics available in English? No, this program is offered through a partner. You have to be careful whenever you see a program and it says UCAM. You need to go to the official UCAM website and see if that course is offered. on our website, because if it's not on our website, but you see it somewhere else saying UCAM, that means it's offered by a partner program. Now, it could be official or it could not be official. I've seen some partner programs that are not official, but it's good. I'm not saying that they're bad programs, they're good programs. It depends on your goal, because unofficial programs have the expertise required in the labor market. Can I have a list of all your, yeah, sure. I mentioned them very first at the beginning of the meeting, the bachelor's and the master's, but I'm going to share the screen again for you to see the list of the bachelor's programs. So I hope I answered that question about logistics properly. That's not our program, it's offered by our partner institution. However, you will get a certificate from UCAM. All the academic work will be handled by the partner. The only thing we will do is give you a certificate. I want to learn Spanish language. What's the duration? Now, for Nigerians, unfortunately, yes, you can learn Spanish language, and no, you cannot, unless you want to study something else. Let's say you want to study architecture or medicine, which are available in Spanish only. Then you can do Spanish plus medicine, such that your offer letter, the admission letter, is going to read Spanish plus bachelor's in architecture, Spanish plus bachelor's in medicine, for example. But Spanish alone, just Spanish? No, you cannot get a visa for this program, but Africans from other countries can get. But in our experience, Nigerians will not get a visa just for Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit more about the programs I just mentioned. Maybe a few people might have missed that. Oh, and other than that, I forgot to mention, we shall give you free Spanish courses for all bachelor's programs. It's not a requirement for some of these programs to learn Spanish, except, again, the medical programs like dentistry and psychology, whereby we give you the first 2 years to learn Spanish, and in the third year, we expect you to have, well, an average level. We call it B2 level of Spanish. Not that your schoolwork is going to be in Spanish, no, but it's because you will start meeting patients. You're a future psychologist. So in your internships, you will start meeting actual patients, and Spaniards do not speak English. So you'll have to acquire some basic level of Spanish to communicate with patients. The same applies to dentistry. In the third year, you will start doing your practicals at our dental clinic, and you will have real patients. You want to be able to communicate to the patients who are Spaniards. These are not, how would I say, actors that we just send for the sake of practice. No, you'll be given actual people. So you'll be required to have at least a basic level of Spanish. But thankfully, Spaniards are so understanding. They know Spanish is not your first language. They don't force you to speak perfect Spanish. They actually try to understand you, and they don't pressurize you into speaking properly. So you don't have to worry about the level of Spanish, okay? But for the other programs, we just give them the Spanish class just for the sake, but they will never use it in their academic work. Okay, for masters, that applies to hospitality and MBA only. That's the ones that get free Spanish courses. Why is that about Nigeria? I don't know. Something might have gone wrong with the immigration, and they might have encountered something with the Nigerian applicants. That's why for Nigeria, not just Nigeria, it's the whole of West Africa. they cannot apply to Spanish language only. We are yet to see this in the other parts of Africa because so far we don't have anyone from the rest of Africa applying to Spanish only. This applies to Asia. We have the same case for the Philippines and Vietnam. But Chinese can come and do Spanish only. So we have this, it's not just Nigeria, but it happens to a few countries in Asia as well. India, the Philippines, Bangladesh, the Arab world as well have the same problem. Now, Murcia is the seventh largest city in Spain. It's not popular. Most people just know places like Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia. Well, if you watch football, you might have encountered us. We are the seventh largest. We have the third largest population, of foreigners, especially Africans. You'll be surprised about the amount of people from Africa who live in Murcia. Not necessarily students at UCAM, but these are people who just moved here to work. So you'll find a large number of them. There's even an entire neighborhood just for them. Well, nobody forces you to live in a particular neighborhood, but in case you're wondering about the population of foreigners in Murcia, it is the third largest in Murcia. We are the only university with a professional football and basketball team. Now, I get a lot of questions about our football team and our bachelor's degree in sports. And when people watch the Spanish league, La Liga, they see FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, and then there's UCAM. They're surprised because it's the only university playing in that league. And they think that by doing the bachelor's in sports, they will join that team. No, that is the elite team. However, we have another international team for international students that plays against local teams and other local universities. The elite team is not made up of students. Those are normal employees of the university. They're salaried people, not students. Well, they could be students later, but at the beginning they were just normal employee because the football team is an entity of the university. It's like a small company owned by the university. It's a company within a company with its own employees. However, some people have come from all over the world, and since they had talent in sport, they've been able to make it to elite teams. It doesn't have to be football or basketball. If you look at our basketball team, there are few Africans, some of them are Nigerians, some of them, I've seen one Kenyan, and the rest are Nigerians. There are few Senegalese in the basketball team as well. We have many things, including the Olympics. Based on your sporting career, your athletic capacity, you could always end up in some of these teams. You simply register. Once you're already a student, of course, you register to the training team. And if the coach is satisfied that you can represent the school in the Olympics, there you go. But it's not usually the very first intention when you come to Spain. I'd like to make this very clear. Now, our fees range from 5,000 to 18,000 euros, depending on what you do. Medicine is the highest. Well, the master's in peace and tolerance is the highest at 18,000. And then medicine at 16,000. Dentistry follows at 15,600 euros. And all the other bachelor's programs are basically 7,000 euros only. Okay, 7,000, 7,500, 7,100. The bachelor's programs, they're basically 7,000 euros, except dentistry. which is 14,000. Keep in mind, this is a medical program. It's expensive because of the training involved, and it takes 5 years. Most students from Africa don't have a problem with that because they come for bachelor's in business, they come for sports, they come for psychology, and the fees are just 7,000 to 7,500. So that's okay. Very few people will come from Nigeria, especially, will come for dentistry. I know it's an intensive program, and they try to stay away from this, but there's always somebody for dentistry and medicine. If you haven't seen, we have a chapel. It's a monastery. We are surrounded. The school is based on a monastery, an 18th century monastery. This is it. It's a UNESCO building, but the classes around are new. They're not old. They're not 18th century. Only the administrative building is a UNESCO building. And that's the interior. And this is the exterior of the building. That's the president of the university. And for numbers, these are the latest numbers. We have 12,000 graduates so far, 3,000 masters, 470 students doing their doctorate programs. Our doctorates are online, partially online. Students will be coming on campus to present their thesis, but the rest of the time they don't have to come here. They don't have to present themselves all the time. Right. Scholarship opportunities. This is a yes and no answer. We don't have full scholarships. However, you can get something about 5 to 15% scholarships on all programs. Later, if it's a bachelor's program, that scholarship will apply based on your performance. So the first one, we shall apply it based on our interviews. But for the second, third, and fourth years, it will be based on your academic performance. For the master's, no problem because it's just 1 year. So if you apply the 10 or 15% scholarship, you're good to go. Some masters like high performance sports, the sports master, MBA sports, management of sports entities, and MBA and high performance, this have up to 50% scholarship. But you need a good background to apply for that scholarship. For example, high performance sport, you must have a bachelor's in sports or physiotherapy at least. And then there's tolerance, pace and tolerance. It has a different admission process that has a full scholarship, but you must cater for your own expenses. It's just a tuition fee scholarship. You need at least 8,400 euros to live in Spain for 1 year. There's a question here, breakdown on your fees, graduate course. I think I've talked about that. Tuition fee deposits. The tuition fee deposit is 100%. So what happens is that you pay the application fee of 150 euros only, just 150. And then we send you the offer letter and then in that offer letter, the deposit is going to be 100% tuition fee. I know it's scary in the event of visa rejection. So what happens if you pay full tuition fee and you get a visa rejection? There is a refund policy. So just ensure that you're not rejected because of fake or missing documents or insufficient funds. As long as you can prove that you had 8,400, if the rejection says insufficient funds, no problem. Just present us with the document that you give the embassy, the bank statement that you give the embassy saying 8,400, and you will get your refund. Otherwise, it should also not be due to lack of lack of documents, missing documents. If the embassy asks you to bring supporting documents, you need to take those documents as soon as you can. Computer science, I may have to share this program so that you can see we have computer science, but it's only available in Spanish. So this is what we have in English: bachelor's programs, business, dentistry, psychology, sports, and vet medicine. Anything else that you might have seen is in Spanish, but these are fully taught in English. For postgraduate, it's a longer list, as you can see, but it's practically bilingual education, MBA, EU studies, high performance strength. I see lots of students from Nigeria applying to high performance sport. Please, you must have a bachelor's in a related program to apply to high performance sport. You need a bachelor's in sports, kinesiology, physiotherapy, physiology, physical science, something like that. But all the other masters are open to everybody. We have students from all backgrounds: engineering, biomedical science, everything. The only sensitive one is high performance sports. Then hospitality, tourism. These two are available online. If you don't want to come to Spain, maybe because of family constraint or work constraint, no problem. We have another module which is available purely online. You're welcome to come for the graduation. It's not necessary, but should you choose to do it online, you're welcome to attend the graduation ceremony. International Relations, the MBA Sports. This is a nice program because you have a trip to Madrid and to Dubai or Abu Dhabi. Sustainable Humanitarian Action. This is the 18,000 program, but it has a full scholarship on the condition that you can afford your living cost in Spain. It is not, how would I say, official. That means it has no access. It does not have access to PhDs, but it gives you the expertise you might be looking for. It's good for people who are working in NGOs already, or who are looking into working in NGOs. These two programs and tolerance studies. Hospitality, this is like an internship program, normally available to students doing masters in or bachelors in tourism and masters in tourism and hospitality. So it's more like an internship course. Then you have the human rights law. This is new. We are yet to run the program. The masters in human rights law, it's similar and will be similar to EU, masters in EU studies. This one, European Union Studies and Human Rights. In Spanish, you can see almost everything, and computer science will be here. We have here, is it? Undergraduate. So you have here architecture, civil engineering, computer engineering, which is related to computer science. So if you want to do a program in Spanish, then you can do Spanish first, and in the following year, enroll into the program in Spanish, whether it's bachelor's or master's. I want to check if I left out something, and I'll be open to questions. I think I mentioned living cost in Murcia already. It's relatively cheap compared to Madrid and Barcelona. Many people ask why, what's the best thing about studying in Murcia if there's a campus in Madrid, or if I can find another school in Barcelona, no problem. The thing is, in Murcia, you spend about 600 euros a month. The rent only will cost you about 300 to 400 euros a month. If you factor in food and everything else and transport, you need at least 600 euros per month. But in Madrid, the house only, that's a shared house, will cost you almost 800 euros. A one-bedroom apartment is 1,000 euros. You need at least 2,000 euros to live in Madrid. Barcelona, about 1,500 euros to live there. So the advantage of Murcia is the living cost. And as much as you might find a school that is cheaper, always do the total calculation. Let's say you have a school whose tuition fees 5,000, but then the living cost per year is 15,000. Means you're going to spend 20,000 in total. So always do the final calculation before enrolling to any school. Now, I don't think I left anything out. I've mentioned the most important things. Of course, there are lots of things to talk about. I can only mention one by one and try to focus on the most important things based on the time given. But you're welcome to ask questions and I will answer to the best of my ability.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Millicent, for doing justice to this webinar. It was a very insightful session, and we are very grateful for your presentation. So at this junction, does anybody have any questions for Millicent? Please, if you have questions, you can.
Sorry,
Hello?
yeah, there's a question I say here. For medical courses, can a student come with dependents? First of all, for you to apply to the medical courses like dentistry, you have to apply to a program whose language you speak. Yes, you can come with dependents as long as you have funding for all of them. So that is 8,400 for one person, just one. For the next person, that's 50% of 8,400. And for the third and fourth person going on, it's 25% of it. So you just keep adding, and make sure you have the total amount. As long as you have the funding, you can bring anybody you want. There's a question, if I get rejected due to insufficient funds and the fund shows it's 8,000 as you against the 8,400 mentioned, can I get a refund back? No, it has to be 8,400 and above. 8,400 is minimum. So as long as, of course, the embassy will say that's why you got a rejection because it is not 8,400. They're very strict. Even €1 less can make you get a rejection, just €1. So make sure it is 8,400 and above. And if they reject your visa, just show us the bank statement that you provided at that time. And if it shows 8,400, yes, you'll get your refund. Nothing less than 8,400. Any other question? There's still lots of Nigerians here. Don't be scared. We have a good visa approval rate for students. I think last year we had only 2 visa rejections, but all the other students from Nigeria and Ghana were able to come to school. Any other question? Well, then that's it. From my side, thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'll just stay behind, silent, but I'll be listening in case there's anything else for me. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Millicent. So does anybody else have any question for her?
Okay. So, hi, Millicent. I want to know, you mentioned the opportunities for internships after study. Is there a high retention rate after internship? So if I intern in an organization, is there a possibility that I get retained when the internship period is over?
Yes, I said some students get absorbed into the company. That's, I think, what you mean by the retention rate. Some get absorbed into the company, but most of them prefer to find other jobs because they want to go to bigger cities. So as much as we find an internship in Murcia, but you want to go to Madrid, so it doesn't matter if your company wants to retain you. So I would say most of them go out. Our employment rate stands at 85%. So it doesn't matter whether the company retains you or not. Since our employment rate is at 85%, you will easily get a job elsewhere. Any other question?
Thank you. Okay, Nifemi, you raised your hand. You want to ask a question?
All right, thank you very much. That was a very lovely presentation. Yes, my question, can I use my HND result can I use my HND result for to apply for a master's?
No. For master's, it is strictly a bachelor's degree, what in Nigeria some people call BSc. It is strictly a bachelor's degree. You can only do if you I've seen some students with HND and NECO certificate, and unfortunately they're not eligible for even the bachelor's program, because for bachelor's it's strictly work, and for masters strictly bachelor's degree.
Thank you. So, Patunde Adekunle, you have a question. Can an applicant defer their admission? Okay, that's for you, Miss Millicent.
Yes. This is usually the best course of action, especially in case of a visa rejection or visa delay. We've had a student who applied for a program in November. Well, that was to start in November, but the embassy gave him a visa in January. Well, the embassy has given the visa. Fine. What will the student do? Stay back in Nigeria or apply for another visa? The best course of action is to defer and come in the next year. If, for example, you don't qualify for a refund, if we tell you don't qualify for a refund, no problem. Just prepare yourself to apply for the next academic year. And this way you will not lose your money. It's better, just wait for 1 year. Don't lose your money. It's actually less than 12 months. It's about 9 months. Take the 9 months to prepare yourself and reapply for the next visa. Okay, learn from the mistakes you made the very first time. Try to make sure that this time you do everything perfectly, you submit all the documents perfectly the way they're required, to make sure that you don't get another rejection. And this way, all the money that you had paid will simply be moved to the next academic year. Even if you are not qualified for refund, no problem. We will move the money to the next academic year and defer you. Another question. PhD programs, as I mentioned, we have 4 main programs in PhD, but you're welcome to apply. You can do almost anything you want because they're open. That's the PhD in we have sciences. I have to open this.
Would you like to share your screen?
And I need to share the screen. Yes, please. So these are the 4 main PhDs: computer and environmental engineering, health sciences, social sciences, and sports science. However, please do not feel limited or marginalized just because your area is not within this 4. We have many students doing PhD in business, in international relations, diplomacy, all sorts of things. The only thing you have to ask yourself, the PhD you want to do, what is it related to? If it's close to social science, then you do the PhD in social science. So this is why you have most businesses and humanity programs. And then health sciences, this is of course strictly for doctors, people who have a background in medicine and any other health science. Engineering, you don't need to have a degree in computer engineering. No, you could be a mechanical engineer, you could be a civil engineer, you could be an electric engineer. It doesn't matter. Any engineering, you want to do the PhD, the course will be called Programming Computer Environment. The main issue is to find a supervisor. So what you do is present your proposal, your research proposal, and then the faculty will look at it and see if they can supervise you. Okay, it's online, it's be-learning. That means you'll be coming to Spain at least 3 times a year to present your thesis, once or 3 times a year to present your thesis. Minimum 3 years, maximum 5 years. Do you offer postgraduate education? Yes. We have the Masters in Bilingual Education. Like I said, it's official. It has access to PhDs and visa extension in Spain. It's a program aimed at people who want to be teachers or work in the administrative panels of academic institutions. The bilingual education. You don't need to have a bachelor's in education to do this. No, you're welcome to apply with any background. Is there no way we can pay 50% and stuff? No, unfortunately, there is no way. We don't even have installments as an option. Yes, the PhD is available in English. Your supervisor will use English. Our PhDs are in English. But the process for PhDs is different, unlike for masters and bachelors, because for PhD you register online and then you wait for the faculty to respond saying that they found a supervisor. The challenge is usually to find a supervisor. You're welcome to present your own supervisor if the school takes too long to get you one. Can you explain the application process for masters? Okay. In this case, you have Blessing and the team. You simply send your documents to Blessing and the team, anybody else working with them. Then they will help you book an appointment for an interview. We shall do an interview just like this one. We get to know you, know why you want to study that program, your intentions, of course. After that, we ask you to pay an application fee of 150 euros. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, we send you an offer letter for you to proceed with the tuition fee payment. After that, you will start the legalization process. But in this case, you have JAPA that will help you with the legalization because they're the ones in Nigeria and they will understand the process much better. But it's basically going to the Minister of Education, Foreign Affairs, and the Spanish Embassy. If you're working with an agency, you don't have to struggle on your own. You can always get assistance from the agency to do your legalization. Once you get your legalized documents, we send the final admission letter, which is used for the visa application. Can you explain the process for undergraduate? It's the same as that of the masters, bachelors and masters, the same application process.
Yes, it's the same. Thank you, Millicent, for your time. We really do appreciate the hour you have given us. I think that you have touched every bit of both the understanding Spain understanding the university and the admission process. Yes, we've got Ile Education / JACWA partners here to help students. So I think from your own vantage point, we can sort of release you and sort of end the webinar. And anyone who is interested in applying will then contact our team. Let's say who in terms of Europe, they'll be able to help you with that process. So I would allow Yomi with the parting words. But on behalf of the team, Millicent, we really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless.
All right. Once again, thank you so much, Millicent. Thank you for that very insightful session. We really appreciate